Good afternoon, viewers. I am Jaideep Sharma from the School of Social Sciences, and with me I have my colleague Dr. Biplab Jamatia from the School of Health Sciences. We both represent the Indira Gandhi National Open University, and today we are going to talk on internship. It is one of the important components of the National Education Policy 2020, and we represent two different professions. I am from Library and Information Science, and Dr. Biplab Jamatia is from Medicine, Health Sciences in particular. So we'll be sharing our views on internship. Today we intend to discuss internship. We will start with the concept of internship, how it is denoted by different terms. We'll talk about how there are some slight changes and variations when you talk of these different terms. Then we will go on to discuss the objectives of internship, how it finds a place in National Education Policy 2020, how it has been operationalized as suggested in the National Education Policy. Then we will talk of how we have been doing it in our university. We'll follow it up with your questions, doubts, your suggestions and views also. So let us start with the concept of internship. As I told you that it is denoted by different terms. You also have the use of apprenticeship, traineeship, on-the-job training. So these are different terms that we use often interchangeably. But then if you really go into the use of these terms, there is a slight variation. Like in the European world, they make use of the term internship, whereas in the United States, they prefer to use the term apprenticeship. Otherwise also there is a slight difference that when you talk of internship and apprenticeship, the difference is that if I quote from certain dictionaries like the Cambridge Dictionary, I quote from the dictionary, a period of time during which someone works for a company or organization in order to get experience of a particular type of work. So I unquote. So that means this definition says that while a person is undergoing studies, he is put on the job training, and that refers to internship. I quote from another dictionary, the Oxford Learners, it's slightly different, and I quote, a period during which a student or new graduate gets practical experience in a job, for example, during the summer holiday, unquote. So this is more particular because it mentions that it is meant for students and it is done alongside the studies, the curriculum that the student is undergoing, and particularly during the time period when the curriculum is not on that way, like summer holidays or otherwise. So this gives an indication that internship is done during a particular time period when a student is doing studies, because while the student is undergoing internship, the student should not be at a loss of otherwise missing classes. Now when you talk of apprenticeship, it says that it is generally provided by employers to future employees. It results in getting jobs, and it is for a longer duration, and one is paid during the period of apprenticeship. During internship, one may be paid and may not be paid, but during apprenticeship, it is paid, the person is paid, and we find the situation in our country also that there are schemes by government and other organizations that they pay the people during apprenticeship, and during internship also students get paid for that. Now, this internship, it generally helps the student in developing their critical thinking skills, logical thinking, applying their knowledge in real life situations. One gets a practical exposure to the student, available to the student. What he has learned in the classroom, he is able to translate that outside the classroom. And therefore, this is something which is really important, because when one goes to the workplace, there is often a complaint by the employer. There is often something which is little negative statement given by the employer that the student is not fit for the job. How can the student be fit for the job? Because the student has not got into the job. though he is taught theory, practical both, but then the type of exposure that the student gets in the classroom or in the lab or in the educational institution, the student is really not able to get what he can get really while he is in the workplace, in the laboratory, outside the laboratory, that is the real life laboratory, whether it is a hospital, it is a library, it is a courtroom or any other professional place. So therefore, this is valid as well as something which is subject to criticism also. I would like to know the views of my colleague Dr. Biplab in this regard. What do you say?
Sir, thank you. I think our all teachers are very much interested on this particular topic, because now they also know the condition of their students, and they know that their students need to learn certain amount of the skill. Their students need to able to do certain amount of problem solving. So these are the internship, which is guided as per the National Education Policy 2020, and it is bringing a opportunity for the all learners that they can learn into the real life situations. Here I think one point we need to bring. Normally in a conventional education system, and I feel our all listeners are from the conventional education system, and students are with you, so you can really manage these situations within your control very easily. But normally the internship is done in some other places beyond the educational institutions. But although there are some project or internship can be done within the educational institution also, but when students is away from you, the challenge is how you can monitor them, how you can guide them, how you can assess them, how much they are doing or how much they are learning. So that is the one of the challenge we are going to talk in the future. But I think our national education policy given a very clear-cut guideline for the internship for our students, and I personally feel it will really bring a sea change into the outcome of the students in terms of their capabilities.
Yeah, very right. I also agree with you that when you talk of national education policy, the buzzword is holistic education, all-round development. Let the student not be limited to just books and copies, and it should not be exam oriented. One should make it a meaningful learning. One should be able to see why this, how it is going to help the student, what for this, all this that is being taught to the student. So as you rightly mentioned, when you say skills, that is very immediately clear that what you have learned, the art of putting that knowledge into practice, whether it is hard skills, even soft skills also. So I think you are very right that this becomes more meaningful for them. And this word that I again repeat, holistic education, means that this education is, it's more meaningful. And therefore, if I quote from the National Education Policy, they say that the higher education institutions will be provided with opportunities for internship with local industry, with business, artists, crafts. So see the variety that they talk of, that when you talk of internship, it's not always the organized sector also, it could be craftsmen also, it could be the local industry also. So the purpose is that student gets that exposure. Student should be able to really be interested, yes, because immediately the student comes to know, yes, this is for this, the purpose is this, the immediate results will be this, I'll be this, the way I'll be able to translate this knowledge. So that becomes more interesting also for the student. So that is really, and finally they also say that a byproduct is employability. Yes.
And I think particularly when a person is already skillful in his or her particular work, then employability is next level regarding this, because any employer would like to hire a person who is much more skillful than a person who doesn't have any experience into that skill. So this is the not only opportunity for the student point of view, but it is a opportunity for the employer also, who are going to get a better workforce for the society in terms. And in between, we as a teacher, it is our mandate as a contributing to the society and building a future generations, and it will be very, very helpful. The question is how to do it.
Yes, yes, yes. So as rightly mentioned, I remember when we were also students and we had just passed, we would see often the advertisements and we'll see that there is a clause, experience, 1 year, 2 years. So that was at times very dejecting for the people who were applying for jobs. But I think situation will change now, because our students would have already undergone internship maybe once, twice, even thrice during their graduation and otherwise, and I think that clause will not more applicable now, because they would have already got that exposure which the employer wants.
Here the one of the point which we really need to always remember is, when we study the book, it is many times very different from the grassroots level situation, real life situation. Many things are not as like we study in our books. So when we go into work, then we have a various kind of challenges. Sometimes computer may not be working.
Yeah.
Sometimes there will be heavy rain. Sometimes there will be no electricity.
Yeah.
And there are many other difficulties. But the purpose is the work has to done.
Yeah.
Then the challenge is coming how this work need to be done.
Yeah.
So until unless we are experienced in those kind of situations, it is very difficult for anyone. And basically the experience is added into that. And this kind of new opportunity for the educational institutions, as well as collaboration with the industry and other bodies, it will definitely add the new generation into more experience, more skill, and definitely at the end of the day, it is a sense of satisfactions, and that is leading to the your confidence level. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can manage it. Otherwise, many times we know theoretically many things, but when in reality we need to do, we cannot do. For example, I can read many books about the driving, but until unless I drive a car, I cannot do just by reading it. So the real, that is also one of the living example. Like we can read many things about the swimming, but until unless we do our self swimming, we cannot manage it. We may get drowned in real situation. So this internship is also one of that kind of opportunity which is giving to our students, and definitely I think it will be very much helpful for the students.
Very rightly mentioned. I think he is referring to managerial skills, how to manage things, because when you do it in the best of the conditions, maybe you are not tested for that. So when you really enter the real life world, the managerial skills also are developed. So this also is one of the objectives, that not only hard skills but also managerial skills, but also soft skills like communication skills. So skills of working in a group, that also is there. Though we all incorporate all such things in the classroom also, but then that is all artificial controlled conditions. But the moment you get outside the classroom, this is not artificial, this is real, this is natural, this is not controlled, this is something which is real. So I think you cannot really overemphasize, this is really important. So they say that you are able to actively engage the learners with the practical side of their learning. And if they really get into it, they are more responsible individuals, they are more mature individuals, they are more closer to the real life situations, and they are more employable also. So these are all very important. I would like to bring to your attention that there are draft guidelines that have been provided by the University Grants Commission regarding the operationalities of the internship, where they have mentioned the objectives of internship. So you can go and see that they really stress on the real work environment, because you may do it theoretically, you may provide any sort of conditions, but then real work environment, as he mentioned, that when you enter the field, you may see unseen circumstances. Suddenly things may happen. Therefore, real work environment has been stressed in that. And it is not that you just leave the student there, ask him to go for internship. You need to be there with him. that guidance is required by the student. That is also very important. As teachers, we should not feel that yes, now we are free, our students have gone to the field for internship. We have to be with them. Doesn't mean that physically we are with them always, but then we are there to guide them. So this internship could be for the real world complex problems in the working area, or it could also be for research. So two types of internship have been stressed in this UGC document, and these are, one is research, the other is that. We have already mentioned about the managerial skills and communication skills, and also societal challenges are there. That also, we are talking of innovation these days. We are talking of the ways in which we are able to design low cost solutions to our problems. So all these one will be really exposed to when one goes into the field. So also, you know, educational institutions have their own limitations also at times, like the infrastructural problems, the equipment, the type of equipment that our industry may be having, maybe our national level organizations may be having. Like in his case, he belongs to health sciences. They may have very good labs, but then the hospitals, the premier hospitals, they may be having some very good labs.
Yeah.
Maybe I think you will be able to highlight this point. This is very important.
Yeah, because my training, as I am a doctor, I did my MBBS, and all you know that within MBBS, a person has to do 1 year internship. We call it internship into various departments, because the focus is whatever we have read throughout the 4.5 years. Now we need to rotate in various departments like surgery, medicine, pediatrics, gynecology, ENT, ophthalmics, like various departments we have to move, and we have to do work along with our seniors in a real life situations. And at that time, whatever we have read before, that is we are applying it. And it is of course a guided one under the supervision. So as you said, not everywhere all facilities are available. We have like better hospital, we have a smaller hospital like district level hospital, and we have a primary level hospital, and of course like health center. In every places different categories of healthcare workers are working. So the internship is basically a experience which is giving you at a field level, at a real life situations. You may read many things that how to give injections, but until unless you give injections, you really cannot make it appropriate for the patient. Like we read many times drawing blood. We read the different chapters, but until unless we practice it, how to take out blood. Even I sincerely feel many of you have already given blood sample. Not everybody is doing the equally good. Many of them may cause some pain, somebody may do it very smoothly. So everything is depending upon how much expertise that person has acquired. And again, variations, individual variations, like there will be some fat person where veins will be not visible, there will be some thin person, there are some fair complexions where veins are easily visible, there are some dark complexions. So in a various situations, that is a internship which is giving opportunity us to learn all these things. Otherwise, just by reading books, you cannot draw blood.
Similarly, if it is a child. It is difficult. Even like burn patient is one of the challenges. Many expert hand cannot make like this particularly this burn patient, how to give them IV, then it is very difficult. So everything is given this kind of opportunity in a real life situations, and it is also getting opportunity to expertise your skill. Like you may do able to be in a real life situations, in ideal situations, but ideal situation cannot remain all the time. You cannot find ideal situation all the time. There may be different adverse conditions. So the objective of internship is very crucial, like one of the imparting you the skill in a real life situation. And second is bringing expertise, whatever you have learned. It should be in your reflex. Like there are many experienced persons, just by touching car, they can say, oh, your car, this part is damaged. But I and you, we are driving our car, we don't know, because we don't have any practical training on that aspect. So this is how the expertise.
repeating and doing the things again and again. So in our future presentations, we are going to talk how we are going to
really
do it, because it is a challenge. It is not an easy task.
Yeah.
It is challenge for the teachers. It is challenge for the student also.
I would like to add to what he said. Like if I teach a student about the different information sources that are available, which are very far and wide these days. Every day you find something new coming up, different type of sources. We used to have only print sources, now we have digital sources which are coming like anything. We have open educational resources, we have open access resources. We may teach any number of resources to our students, and he may know also. But we may also teach him how to read and understand the psychology of a user in a library, and we may teach him that how you conduct a reference interview. But then the moment he stands on the reference desk and he comes across a user, that is the real test. Then he has to apply all his knowledge that he has got, starting from reading the psychology of the user, knowing what he really needs, like a doctor does it. Because the patient may come and say something, but the problem lies somewhere else. Similarly, when an information seeker comes to the student, to the reference librarian, he may be seeking something, but he may be wanting something, he may be requiring something else. So you have to read him. You have to know really what is that, like a doctor diagnoses. So that diagnosis you may be teaching theoretically, but then it is only when one really does it that one is able to apply all that he has learned. One is able to reflect on what he has done. One may be able to recollect what has been done and apply it. And that gives an immense satisfaction to the student, I think.
Yeah, self-confidence.
Self-confidence.
And since all of our teachers, they know about the Miller pyramid, the top of the Miller pyramid is show me how does. So in that situations, student is demonstrating how he can do it. So that is the top of the Miller pyramid, where the maximum amount of knowledge, attitude, skill, his everything is accumulating and bringing a output of whatever he has able to perform or able to do it. So this is the very beautiful concept, like as you said, that combination of knowledge, attitude, skill, and soft skill, hard skill, everything is combining and presenting to the other end. That is, we are maybe bringing our, like in our case, we are serving to our patient, we are serving to the student. Like in case of you, we are serving to our client, our users. So it is a very beautiful concept, but the challenge is until unless we do it properly, it is very difficult to maintain the purpose.
And when you talk of internship, it is not merely limited to professional courses and programs only. You can have internship in any course that you think of, whether it is humanities, it is social sciences, because this learning has a meaning, has an application somewhere. So the form may change, but then the basic purpose is this.
Like as you said, for example, it should not be only practical oriented course. Even in humanities, you can ask to analyze the real situations of the current newspaper, or maybe some author, how this write-up is relevant to the present context. And there are many other, even history, political science, every field. We can bring this kind of judgmental component, bringing all dimension in it together, and making a new things, and generating a knowledge is also one of the mandate of the educational institution. So that is a very good opportunity where student will bring new dimensions of knowledge by doing this kind of internship. So through this they will enhance their cognitive component, they will enhance their comprehension component, and making it relevant to the common people. Like if you say the Einstein theory, it is not relevant to the farmer who is doing it, but we can make it in a different way. We can make it in a understandable positions, because whatever we are saying or whatever we are doing, if end users is not satisfied, means our teacher used to say there are many parents who refuse to give vaccinations. Then our teacher used to say, even if you are MD doctor, And if you are not able to convince this parent for the vaccination, it means your MD degree is zero because you failed
Yeah.
to convince him. So that is the challenge.
Yeah.
So how this knowledge or information or skill can be made relevant to the society. So this is the opportunity through which the internship they can achieve.
Yeah, yeah. So this is how it is important. And now let us go further and to the operationalities. That is very important. We will start with a little bit about how UGC has said in the national, how it has been mentioned in the national education policy. Then we'll go on to specific operationalities. Like they have said that in the second semester you can provide a 8 to 10 weeks of internship, hands-on training or short research, and this will be for 10 credits. That means the moment the student is ready to come out, exit from the first year and get a diploma, the student gets a 10 weeks of 10 credits of internship that could be of around 450 hours. So that will really help the student to get jobs of that level, because even a diploma, a student who does a diploma has some absorption somewhere. So for that, once he has finished his theoretical studies, his examination and all, then he, after having been put on this internship, he is really learnt the nuances of the workplace and is more fit to get some job, some employment, some vocation for which he is eligible. So that is the first step in internship. In the second step, the student can get internship after the fourth semester. That means again after the next year, when the student can exit, it was certificate in the first level and diploma in the second level, and again 8 to 10 weeks of internship, again could be hands-on training or research. It could be either type of internship, and for again 10 credits and 450 hours. And then at the end of 7th semester, when the student is ready to be a graduate, and again another 10 credits of internship, which they say as research ability enhancement course, because now you are preparing the student for research. And during the 7th, 8th semester, there will be a project or a dissertation for 30 credits. So now it's very clear that after the first year 10 credits, after the second year 10 credits, and third year it will be research internship for 10 credits, and finally during the 8th, 7th and 8th semester it will be the student is fit for research. So this is how they have mentioned. Now when you provide internship, naturally you need to have an organization who provides internship. As in the case of health sciences, it has to be a hospital, it has to be a healthcare institution, it could be a health center, it could be a hospital of different types, it could be a district hospital, it could be or any other type of hospital. So you need some such organizations. That is why they talk of academia industry interaction, because institution cannot have it. Some colleges may have their own hospitals attached to them, as generally they have, but then you cannot just have your students only in your hospitals. They have to go and experience outside your organization also. Yes. So that is very important for us also. Like in university, where the students are undergoing their education, they may have libraries, they may have information centers, but that is not enough. Therefore, this is a national effort wherein our student, a student of any higher educational institution, gets the opportunity to undergo internship all over the country, anywhere in the country, and that should not be limited for the student. That is how he will really experience the real life situation. Similarly, in case of humanities, like he was mentioning, like it could be a newspaper where a media center, it could be a electronic media center where he undergoes training. It could be a museum. It could be any such type of organization, and we have these organizations at different levels. It depends on the availability, it depends on the convenience of the student also, because you cannot ask your student studying in one corner of the country and going to the other remote corner of the country to undergo internship. Now Another thing that has been mentioned, very beautiful concept that has been given, which is really very important for internship to happen, is that there should be an internship portal. This is a very good thing that has been suggested for really making it happen easily, and also monitoring is possible. You need develop an internship portal wherein you give the facilities to the students to enroll themselves for internship in different institutions. So on the one side, there are institutions who would register themselves on the portal. So now they are registered internship provider organizations. They have been registered there. And on the other end, a student is able to enroll for internship on this portal. So now the facilitation is done, that the student knows who are the internship providers, and the internship providers are able to identify who are the prospective interns for them. So they are all available on the portal. So every institution can make this facility available for their learners and for the providers, internship providers. And the internship providers, institutions will provide a supervisor to the student, because the student needs to be guided. And the higher educational institution who is sending the students to the internship, they need to provide a mentor to the student. I think this is something which is really good.
Yeah, I think here the one of the main point is the internship portal is going to be very crucial, because they are going to monitor the
Yes.
Student
Yeah.
and what kind of activity they are doing.
Yeah.
For example, it may be possible that in particular institution all students are doing internship, student of history, all students are doing internship on research on Maharana Pratap. There may be possibilities, so the students may be copying from each other and all of them doing the same topic on the Maharana Pratap. But if we see the portal, then we can easily identify it, and already we know that okay, this topic has been taken by some other person, now I should take another person.
Yeah.
So this portal is helpful not only for the teacher or supervisor, but for student also, for the preparedness.
Yes.
Or a person's, it may be possible that first semesters also I did, first time also I did project on Maharana Pratap, second time also I did on Maharana Pratap, third time also. So that kind of duplicacy can also be avoided.
Yes, yes.
So this portal is going to be a very crucial and very helpful for all stakeholders of the particularly involved in this project or internship.
Yes. At the same time, it may help a person to develop specialization also.
Yeah.
Like in your case, the person wants to specialize in pediatrics. So one by one, level 1, level 2, level 3, like that. So that will also be there. The student will get a chance, and the person who is providing training also gets it.
The record of the internship portal will also help student for building their portfolio.
Yes.
Because wherever they are going, they can show it.
Yes.
Okay, see, I have done this kind of project
Yeah.
before, so I am capable of doing this.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it is very helpful for making their portfolio. So all students need to go into this portal and get a benefit of this portal, I think.
Very right, very right. So the portal will allow registration to the internship provider organizations, and these institutions will know about the qualifications of the students, the capabilities of the institution, because they have set availabilities of internship. They want people to learn certain things. So the student should also have a certain level. It is not something very broad or something just for doing it, sake of doing it. No, there are very particular, very clear learning objectives. So the person who enters internship should be capable of learning that within that period of time. So that also should be known to the internship provider organization also. And at the same time, mentor is there to guide the students. Because the students also at times they are lost. They should know.
Basically, it is a prior learning kind of situations.
Yeah.
Now, for example, unless you know how to count 1, 2, 3, 4, you cannot ask him to learn the additions.
Yes. Yes.
So this is just a rough example I have given. So you know the capability of the student,
Yeah.
you know the level of the student. So keeping in mind of their prior learning,
Yeah.
their reality, you can assign them the topic, and that is the basic job of guiding the mentor and supervisor. Right?
Yes. So supervised learning and guided learning, and because the supervisor and the mentor, they are there to see, yes, the student is moving in the right direction, is not lost, is not worried, is not disturbed, and is really doing something. And this is how we are able to really achieve something. Like we are talking of innovation these days, so not only it is something useful for the learner, also for the organization.
Yeah.
Because these young minds, they will really help them. They will bring new fresh ideas to the institution, to the organization. Maybe it is an individual research that a person is doing, and he takes some interns from higher educational institution. Maybe these new people who join them, they give some fresh ideas and help the researcher.
Yeah.
So I think this young force will always be helpful for them. Now let us talk of the structure of the internship. Yeah.
Now here the most important thing is, as I already said, like we are here in distance education institutions. Our students are located at a distance. So we have to give them a proper structured document to guide their different activity. The same thing you may also need to do in your case, because when students are with you, students are under your control, but when they went for the project away from you, you need to monitor them, support them through a proper communication media. That is can be email, that may be the electronic media, or maybe structured document. So normally what we do, this current example, basically we are from doctors background, so we will give you some doctors related training, but healthcare related training, but the same thing can be done in all practical related activities, even like humanities, history, political science, and many other disciplines. First I will give you an example about the MBBS doctor. We are conducting a training on postgraduate diploma in HIV medicine, where we invite them into the medical college for 6 days. You can say it is a contact sessions or internship or project or training. And during that, what are the skills need to be imparted? It is already guided. Student knows it. We have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then to do this activity, to learn this skill, what are the activities student need to do and how much duration they need to do? That is also given activities. And what will be the methods of training? Whether it is like case work discussions or didactic lecture or hands-on training or demonstration or test, everything is guided. So there is a less chance to deviate from the main thing. And the same thing teachers knows, the same thing student knows. So it is very easy. You may say, oh, they are already doctor, MBBS doctor, and it is very easy to train. Here we are giving another example where it is basically a training for a general duty assistant. It is basically a training program for 12 pass candidate. There you can see there are 8 days structured. That is a first contact sessions. You can say it is a 8 days of internship. There we have said TS means theoretic teaching, PS means practical sessions. So we have structured that on first day what are the theory sessions to be taken, second after that mid of this day what theory sessions to be taken, and afternoon post lunch what are the practical sessions to be taken. And it is very structured because students are not going in that particular health setup for a long time. They are going to come in a different episode. There, within that episode, we need to utilize the maximum utilizations of the available resource. So it has to be very much structured, and everything, I am again repeating to all teachers, everything is depend upon your learning objective. It's depend upon your learning objective. Like here we have given every day wise, hour wise. In a next program, this is a phlebotomy assistant. Phlebotomy assistants, phlebotomy are those who are taking blood from you, particularly when you go to the lab. So there you can see we have given week wise because it is a serious kind of skill. Inserting needle is a very serious kind of skill. So they have to learn first 2 weeks just observation only, identification of the instrument. These are the few things. And third week onward they have to hands-on training under the Student teacher ratio also we have to mention, like a guide how many students he can mentor, how many students he can train. So third and fourth week we have given them hands-on practical skill, and after that also, this is just the first spell we are talking. There are different spell in different episodes. Students come and they learn what are the things they need to learn. So basically the training structure or internship structures are differ from different level of students, as you said earlier, like based on their prior learning, what students are capable. For particularly students who are after 12th level, for them normally we make three kind of document at our institution. That is, one is your practical manual, second is checklist manual, and third is logbook, where he or she will maintain the record which can be examined. And this is about the certificate in general duty assistant. In generally we can call them ward boy in a hospital. So in a practical manual we give them what are the practical skills they need to learn and how it can be done. That is a theoretical component they need to read. And checklist manual is stepwise. Every step how they need to do. And logbook is they need to maintain the record. For example, here in a practical manual, what are the topic is given, it is already described. Okay. Next is your checklist manual. In the checklist manual, first you can see how to take weight of a person in a hospital setting. So we have given them step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4, step 5. And case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, case 5. So he has to make a list-wise chart. So he has to take, yes, step 1 done, step 2 done, step 2, 3 done. So over the period of time, it will be in his reflex. He will never do any mistake.
Yes.
Because we cannot afford to do any mistake. It is a very simple. Not by taking correct weight, a person may not die immediately, but like that, there are many skills he need to learn. It is entirely depend on the learning objective. Again and again I am saying. Like second is your how to collect the urine sample. It is also again given stepwise process. So this is how student do it. And again, what he has done, how he will prove. Prove is by the logbook. In a logbook, we have given a pro forma where student is doing, okay, I have done this case from this period to this place, signature of the supervisor. And we also give a blank pro forma within the logbook where students need to write by their own hand, and later on it will be evaluated by the teacher. So this is the one of the structured document. Even in fact, many institutions, they provide the project guideline document, where it is clearly mentioned what kind of project you can do, how you have to do, and what you should not do. Every details you are given. So all my teachers, I am requesting you, you may also need to develop your own project or internship guideline document based off your learning objective. Because everything is dependent upon the learning objective, how many times. But again I am saying, it is our experience. Sometimes we feel student can do these things by 10 days. Sometimes we may observe students are doing within the 6 days. So again we revise the document. Next time we minimize the period or extend the activity. Or sometimes we say we are assuming it by student can do it by 10 days, but sometimes it is not done by the 10 days. It is doing by the 15 days. So we extend the period or minimize the activity. So again, it is a, like curriculum development is a continuous process. The same thing, the internship or project development activity guidance also a continuous process. We have to keep modifying the need of the students or under the situation of the student or different circumstances. So this is one of the very key factor. And of course, if we see the assessment component, the assessment component has to be linked with the training.
Yes.
As you know, we have a formative assessment where we are continuously assessing them and giving them feedback, how to improve it. Summative assessment is at the end. So until unless our assessment is very strict and output oriented, student initially will taken for granted.
Yes.
They will say, whatever document you submit, they will pass.
Yes, yes.
Then they will not take it seriously. So our activity has to be linked with the assessment component, and if we give them structural assessment component since very beginning. This is, I am giving one example. We are running a certificate program in yoga after 12 pass level. This is a 6-month certificate program. We said that your assessment will be done on 100 marks, but there are different components like Jal Niti, Rabar Niti, Baman, then Surya Namaskar, there are different kind of asan and Sukshka Vyam, that kind of different kind of activity you have to do. Now you may observe that Jal Niti has got 5 marks. We tell them student very categorically, these 5 marks, if you do Jal Niti, that put a water from one nostril and taken out from the one nostril. Many students can do it, but many students may get only 1 marks or half marks out of the 5 marks. Then student may ask why I had been not given the 5 marks. Yeah. Then we explain. This Jal Niti is having various kind of things like the way you sit down, the way you hold your that pot, the way you bend your neck, how much you have bent, and before you check your nostril or not. Then you do with one nostril, you do with another nostril. Then after doing it, how you make your dry off your nose. So everything is having small percentage of marks within that 5 marks. So these things we already inform to the student. So student knows even if I do just by pouring water and taking out from another nostril, I will get 5 marks.
Yeah.
So this structural component has to be inbuilt within the internship or project period, and it has to be informed student in advance.
Yes, yes.
So that they know that until unless I do it, I won't get marks.
Yes.
So our quality of the training can be really monitored or enhanced by the quality of the assessment component.
Yes.
So this is the reason this assessment has to be linked along with the training component, and it has to be very transparent. Informed student in advance. You
Yes.
have to be. You are going to assess like this way.
Yes, yes.
We said that there will be 2 examiners in our practical examinations, university examination. One is internal, one is external. Internal may know you and may pass you, but external will not to pass you.
Yes.
So students are well aware that until unless they do this, they won't get marks.
Yeah.
So they do it very sincerely.
Yeah.
So this is our experience. So I am requesting our all teachers, please develop your own learning objective, your own internship guideline document, and connect it with the assessment and inform the students in advance so that they can be very much orient themselves according to the situation.
So I think what I gather from what he said is that first is learning objectives, because it is at different levels, like it may be for a certificate, for a diploma, for a graduate program. So learning objectives will be different, levels will be different. Then you have to identify the jobs that have to be done, the tasks that have to be carried out, the activities that have to be done, and you have to neatly categorize it, because the students have to be informed, the supervisor has to be informed, the mentor has to know that, and you need to also inform them that what is to be achieved out of this activity, out of this task, so that they are very clear about what learning has to take place. And because the designers are different, the people who carry out are different, and it has to be a meaningful exercise. It should look, it is very serious, because the purpose is defeated if all this is not done in such a structured and systematic way. And similarly, how the learner has to be evaluated, and evaluated at 2 levels, because if you just do the summative assessment, then a student who's lagging, he did get an alarm. He was not informed by the person. He should get a information. Yes, you are lagging behind. You are somewhere below standards, and that is only possible by the formative assessment. So that also has to be there. It could be done by the supervisor, by the mentor, and therefore for this the portal will be a great help. The logbook or workbook, we call it workbook, they call it logbook. Similarly, they have done it activity based and they have done it into set of activities. We have also added hours to each activity. We say for this activity you need to devote so many hours, so many weeks. So you need to develop your own mechanism, but see, yes, it is meaningful. It really helps you to achieve the objectives of internship. And evaluation you may done oral, you may do by means of a viva voce, you may have 2 sets of examiners, but the purpose is that whether it is internal or external, it has to be within a certain set of guidelines so that you are able to answer the student why he got less or why he got more.
Like for example, this document which you are saying right now, we have, it is after 3rd revision we have come into, because once students complete exam, we talk both to the students as well as to the examiner. Then we take a feedback from them, how we can improve the assessment methods, how it will be much more effective, and how can we make these assessment methods much more learning oriented. Then we constantly take a feedback from the examiner, we constantly take feedback from the student, and then we evolve these things every time. Every after examinations, we take a feedback and we see how we can improve. So all our teachers, this is a continuous process. We are requesting you that we have to keep designing and revising the document again and again. In fact, not only the assessment format, our training format need to be changed. Our the guidance, the learning objective, the durations, and the methods of training, methods of the place where we are training them, everything can be modified as per the feedback. So it is a continuous process as we keep modifying our curriculum, and this is a part of the curriculum, so it also need to be continuously modified. So you should not think, okay, I have done, so let them go through the same thing again and again. It won't help very much. So we all need to keep working on this so that the learning can be much more meaningful. The basic objective is learning also, and contributing to the society, so it can be much more meaningful to the society and much more meaningful for the learning person.
Let us have some questions. In case you have questions, doubts or suggestions or any views if you have, let us take one by one.
We have not received any question till now. It means either we have delivered a very good lecture or they have not understood anything. So both can be possible, sir.
So maybe you are still thinking about it. You may be having some questions in the mind later on. We'll welcome questions. We can send by mail and we'll be able to answer all of them. We are also implementing all these things. As he rightly said, we keep on improving and we should improve also, because there is always a scope of improvement, and I think the moment we get more feedback from you, we'll be able to do it still better next time. So
I think here's a common thing what our teacher may be thinking is the challenges may be like in those subjects where normally practical is not involved, like our social science subjects, our humanities. They may be having different kind of challenges, but again, as you already said, in every discipline it can be done. Even in the field of mathematics, they will feel how we can do project. But even the same thing can be like how the teaching of mathematics can be much more simplified for a student. That may be the one of the challenges. Till date, I have not understood what is the real applications of a plus b whole square or a plus b whole cube, that kind of things. But if you do it like a project on making people more understand about
teaching of mathematics,
about the applications of how this formula is going to be applied in our day-to-day life, connecting a mathematical formula with a day-to-day life, then it may be much more meaningful for the student, and they get a more sense of satisfactions, and they can also, it will also enhance them to design different kind of or meaningful component of the mathematics which can be much more interested.
Yes.
Otherwise there are like engineering subject or many computer, they have a different set of aspect, like even our health training sector, we have a different setup, but those are the different areas where there are lots of challenges.
Yes.
But I hope they can do it very nicely, and they can contribute a lot to our society.
Otherwise, you all know that research internship is there. So, whatever be the subject, whatever be the discipline, one can always go for research internship. You can associate yourself with a person who is doing research, with an organization. It could be an individual research project, it could be an organizational research project, and their chances are not limited these days. There are unlimited chances. So you can allow your students to enroll themselves as part of any research project, any research team, and I think there is no dearth of such projects anywhere. You have to make your learning more meaningful. So you think of an area, you think of any subject or discipline, I think you cannot say no, there are no availability of internship or there is no option of internship. No, it is always there, because we want them to convert their learning into meaningful actions, to contribute what they have learned to the society, to the environment, to the individuals, and to the nation also.
I think our teachers have understood it very well, and since there is no question, we can...
In case you have any questions, we can still answer, and
yeah, we are waiting for the questions.
We are nearing the end of the session.
Or you can send your observation also, your comments also.
Yeah, we would welcome observations and comments also in case there are there. So hope you are all connected.
Yeah.
So what we discussed today was, we started with the different terms that we use for internship, assessment, on-the-job training. We differentiated also these terms, how they are different from each other. We also said, we also discussed what are the objectives of internship, how it has been mentioned in the National Education Policy 2020, and how it can really help our students and learners not only to improve their critical thinking skills, your reflective skills, also finding their applications into the real life world, making this society and environment better. We have environmental issues also, and we need educated people for that, to understand these problems, sensitize others, improve the society and environment alike, both. And I think internship gives a chance to the learner to do all this, improve their own skills, their own managerial skills, their communication skills, their subject skills, their hard skills, their soft skills, and also it really helps them to get better job opportunities. There are some areas like management, like law, like medicine, where we have seen, yes, this internship helps them, the employers, to lay their hands on good candidates, or we can say candidates who really suit them, because they almost 100% of their students get internship placements out of after internships. So this is a real win-win situation, both for the learners as well as the employers, and this is a really useful concept that we are going to implement in our educational institutions. It's not really limited to higher educational institutions. Even at the school level, it has been mentioned, right from class 6. Because otherwise the students are at times lost. They are not able to really make their knowledge more meaningful. So right from class 6 they will be put in. You all remember, you used to have socially useful and productive work, which we used to feel as an add-on to our studies. No, this is embedded into our curriculum. This is very much a core part of our curriculum. So this is being made more meaningful as we are talking of internship component.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Explained very important topic, and I hope our teachers are benefited by this discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Biplab, and thank you all.
Thank you all.